But I do see on the side over here, there is one card that was not labeled or holdered, and it says do not holder. Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm back at it again with another PSA grading submission video. A bunch of you guys have told me in the comments and also in person that you guys really enjoyed the last video when I went to Japan and I picked up a bunch of high-end cards and sent them the grading. So I decided to do another video for you guys again. Same exact premise, same type of video. I just came back from Japan again. I don't typically go to Japan this often, especially not this frequent, but my family went on a trip, on a tour to Japan, and so while we were there, I decided to stop by for a couple extra days to do some card shopping and to get this video out for you guys. So this video isn't going to be as high-end as the last one. I didn't get to go to different cities like I usually do. I just stuck in Tokyo for the most part this time. But there are still a lot of heavy bangers, heavy hitters. A lot more variety this time and a lot more cards. So I'm going to start off with a couple of higher end cards in the beginning. And I'll go over those a little bit more carefully and a little bit more in depth than the cards later on in the video. So as you can see, I've taken a few of these cards out of their card savers, and I'll show you guys the back and front of those. And then like this entire stack over here, pretty basic stuff, pretty simple grades, easy cards to grade. So I'm not gonna go super in depth in that just to keep this video a little bit shorter, but without further ado, let's get started. So my goal this time was to get cool cards and cards that I thought that were gonna go up. Last time, again, ponchos, festas, Munch promos, crazy stuff last time. And I did really well with those, but Tokyo doesn't have a lot of selection with that stuff because Tokyo is super competitive with a lot of tourists going in. And even people like me that go every so often and buy a bunch of cards to bring back to the States and sell or grade. So again, this time I just picked up the stuff that I thought was cool, stuff that I thought was gonna go up. Like there's a bunch of tag teams in this video and a bunch of super modern stuff that I got for a lot cheaper than I would in the US. And again, I'll throw up prices on the screen if I can, if I remember, and I'll even speak to them in the video. But first up, we got this black and white Reshiram. This is the Japanese version. Most people don't know, but this is actually, in English, this card is actually my favorite card in the entire Pokemon TCG. So a lot of these cards I actually picked up from the LP or damaged aisle or section in the store. If you guys don't know, in Japan, they actually split up cards in sections with the near mint side and then also like the played LP near mint minus section. And if a card has a sticker with a different color on it, it usually means they consider it not an S rank. S rank would be like near mint pristine, basically, PSA 10 essentially. And they also do take into consideration the centering, which we don't in the US. So a lot of these cards were not actually purchased at full price. I actually got discounts on them because the Japanese stores thought they were, I don't know, LP plus, near mint minus, whatever the case may be. So this card I thought was super clean. Again, my favorite card in the entire TCG, so I decided to pick it up. I do expect this to PSA 10, but a lot of these cards, because there are slight imperfections, I would not be surprised if they got a 9. But again, this one, paid $225 to $250 for this card, and I believe a PSA 10 goes for like $450. So not a huge margin, but low risk, high reward, or decent reward. And the next card is this, I don't remember exactly what year this is. This might be 2017, the 2017 Festa. Oh yes, that's right there. There you go. So there's actually two versions of this card. They're basically the same card except the stamp is a little bit different and the numbering on the card is different. This one's 068 SM-P. The regular version is 061. So the only difference is this is the Champions League version. The other one is the regular Festa. This one goes for a little bit more. The gap used to be a lot bigger on the Champions versus non-champion promo, but right now they're doing pretty close to the same. I think it's also because a lot of people don't know there's a difference, and so the price gap has closed recently in the last couple months. So I picked up this card for around $550 raw. This was an A rank, not an S rank, and I believe the reason why is because it's a little bit off center, top to bottom and left to right. Nothing crazy, but it is shifted slightly. The back, I believe, is pristine. So a PSA 10 for this card goes for about $850, $900 maybe. So that gives me like a $300 cushion if I do get a 10. If it 9s, I believe I lose money. And that's going to be the case again with these cards. Japan knows they can price things higher than near mint or PSA 9 because people like me will take the risk. And it works because I do buy them and a lot of people do buy these cards. So There is a risk when buying these cards to grade them. If they 9, most of these are going to lose money. Nothing crazy, but again, there is that risk of losing money. So the next card, we're getting back to the Munch promos. You can tell immediately right off the bat that this card is off center slightly. Well, not even slightly. I think it's probably more than the the PSA's standards. But this card has such a huge upside to it. I believe a PSA 10 does $2,000 right now. I bought this card for $550. I don't expect it to get a 10, but there is a small chance, and that small chance was already way worth it for me to pick it up and shoot for the stars, basically. Like if it 10s, it's a $1,500 profit. I guess a little bit less than that, maybe $1,300 after grading fees and upcharges, but this card looked pristine. I got it for a really good price, and if it 9s, I'll live with it. I'll be okay with it. But again, don't expect it here. I don't. So the next cards, there's actually 2 of them. 2 Munch Pikachus. These were crazy. I went to a store that's really popular with foreigners because they have a lot of super high-end stuff in Akihabara. And they had a bunch of these. They had like 5 to 10 of these on the wall, all varying prices, but they're all basically damaged or played or whatever it was. And I saw these, and these looked really clean for what they were. There were slight imperfections, but I figured, again, shot in the dark with it. Last time I did this with this Munch Pikachu, I sent it in and it got a 10. So I have really good luck buying, I don't want to say damaged, but not near mint S-rank Munch Pikachus in Japan and grading them. I don't know why. This card is just my favorite card to grade, and it does really well. The only imperfection I could see was that tiny white dot right there at the top, towards the middle, right there where my finger is. And maybe, yeah, slight winding on this corner, but it's really hard to tell because the light, see if you shine the light right there, you can't even see it anymore. But it's really tough to distinguish. And every other part of the card, this is the first copy. Every other part of this copy looked really good. It's really well centered. So I expect this one to get a 10, but again, won't be surprised if it gets a 9. The next one I believe is not as clean, and I paid a little bit less. I paid around $1,700 on average for the pair of these. This one is slightly off center top to bottom. The top is a little bit thicker. The back, I believe, is cleaner than the last one. There's another white dot up there, but it's even less pronounced than the, well, I guess there's a couple. Well, that one's even bigger, but I've had, again, pretty good luck, even with these whitening spots, because PSA is pretty generous when it comes to grading these cards specifically. So again, figured a shot in the dark. I think even a PSA 9 does more than the $1,700 I paid for it. I think a PSA 9 right now does like $2,200. So even if it 9s, still happy. I still make a couple $100. If it 10s, I basically double up. So those are 5 of the coolest cards that I figured, or I believe that I picked up, at least in my opinion. I like these the most. The other ones are basically just tag teams and stuff that have gone up a ton in recent months or weeks. I guess I'll get this one out of the way. This is the Team Rocket's Suicune. This one I paid $250 for, and I think a PSA 10, it used to do $700. I haven't checked in a while, but again, high risk, high reward. If it 9s, I lose money. I don't see anything crazy with this card. Again, minor whitening, but nothing that'll automatically give it a 9. Yeah, just a really nice copy overall, and I love this card. This card is way too expensive in English. I found out recently that the English one does like $3,000. So this is like the cheapest way to get one of these Rocket Suicunes. I love this art so much. This one and then the other one, I think it's Ruby Sapphire or maybe Magma Aqua, but those 2 Suicunes are my favorite. So again, expect this one to 10. The centering's pretty good. The edges, a little bit whitening, like I said, but nothing crazy. If I get like 50-50 on these 9s and 10s, I do think I make money. Obviously, it depends on which ones to get 10s. But I mean, if one of these hit a 10, I think it basically pays for the entire submission, or all the losses of what I paid for them, all these cards, and then plus grading fees and what I sell for in a potential 9. Obviously, some might come 8s. I don't expect any 8s, but you never know. Next card is this Expedition Gengar. I believe that has a swirl. Maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought it did. But again, another clean copy. I paid $200 for this card. I actually don't know what it does in a PSA 10. I just know PSA 9 does similar to 200. So again, the risk reward was there. A little bit of winding on the corners, nothing crazy. It's hard to tell with the Japanese ones because in English, it's a blue corner or a blue edge. In Japanese, it's gold, but like the gold kind of matches with the edge of the card. So it's really tough to tell if it's actually whitening or if it's just the light reflecting or if it's just the cut from the printing process. But this one looked really nice. It's just a really cool card. I actually bought 2 of these. One of them I didn't want to send in because I don't think it's got a shot at 10. I mean, it might, maybe like 30%, but this one I feel like is a lot higher. So I'll go with this one first, and if this one gets a 10, then maybe I'll send the next one in. But yeah, don't know the price breakdown on this. Maybe I'll throw it up on the screen, but cool card nonetheless. Then we've got 2 Expedition Charizards. One of them is better than the other. I don't remember which one's better because it's basically impossible to tell without looking at it. I'll pull it out for you guys, but I believe one of them has surface scratches on the hollow. Don't think it's this one. Super, super nice cards. I love this card so much. I paid $250, $275 for both of these each. $275 each for these, and I think a PSA 10 does $700 to $800 last I checked. Really nice copies. I don't see anything crazy wrong. I mean, minor imperfections, maybe on the surface. I don't even know if the camera catches it, but like right there, there's a tiny like faint. I don't even know what that is, but it could also be part of the card. So it just depends on how PSA sees it. I think it's part of the card, but I wouldn't be surprised if they catch that and be like, nope, that's a 9. Besides that, really nice. I don't see anything else wrong with it. So I'm hoping this 10s. If it 10s, come up big. This next one is the one that should have the hollow scratch, if I can find it. Huh, it didn't magically go away. Oh, I see it. So right where the wing is in the mouth, right there. There's one surface scratch there. Kind of big, but it's kind of hard to see, honestly. Like even like looking at it zoomed in on this camera, it's tough to catch. I believe there was a couple other minor ones, but I mean, I don't know how PSA grades scratches like that. Again, shot in the dark. I'm just testing these for a lot of these stuff because I don't really grade e-readers. I don't grade black and white era. I don't grade anything like super old unless it's ponchos or promos or anything like that. So this is kind of a trial test for me to see what I can quote unquote get away with. But I think most of these surefire 9s and good chance at 10s, so that's why I'm sending them in. And I'm also sending them like at a really cheap tier, so it's not going to hurt me if they get a 9, like as far as grading fees. It might hurt me because I paid more than PSA 9 for the card itself, but the grading fees are going to be negligible. So I think a PSA 9 in this card probably goes for like 200, maybe 300, so I probably lose a little bit there. Nothing too crazy. And so you can see the start of the tag teams right here. They're all Japanese, obviously, because I came from Japan. You're not really going to find English... You're not really going to find English high-end cards for cheaper than the States. And if they're super clean, they're probably way overpriced. So pretty much all these are going to be Japanese. This next one is a tag team, Latios Latios. It's actually Latios Latios, I found out recently. It's not Latios Latios. Say that 5 times real fast. But this one I paid $1,100 for. A PSA 9 goes for like $900, I think. So you lose $200 right off the bat if it gets a 9 plus the grading fees. Oh, there's a little thing on that, but I think it wipes off. Huh, that wasn't there before. Oh, there it came off. Okay, so, well, there's a little bit of dust. So, this card looked really good. It's slightly off-center, left to right, but nothing too crazy. Tag teams are really hard, or GX cards in general are really hard to grade, so I don't know how this is going to do. I've actually never graded one of these myself, but I've seen some 10s that are way more off-center than this one, or any of the other tag teams that I'm going to show. And again, this card has been going up so much that I have hope that even if it gets a 9, by the time I get it back, the price of the 9 is going to be more than I paid for it raw, and which is literally what happened with all the stuff that I sent last time. The card market boomed so high that like the Poncho Mario that I paid $5,000 for is pretty close to what the PSA 9 goes for now, even though at the time it would have lost like $1,000, $2,000. So hoping the same thing happens with this card. This card's been going up a lot. A lot of these tag teams have gone up. Even the vintage, as long as they're 10s and maybe even 9s, they've been going up a ton. Like the Munch Pikachus used to do $1,700 in a 9. When I went to Japan last time, now they're like $2,200. So I basically paid the old PSA 9 price for these raw. And I mean, same with a lot of this other stuff. So hoping this 10s, not expecting it again. I'm a broken record at this point. And here's the Mewtwo GX. This card in English has gone crazy. In Japanese too, kind of actually. I think I paid 450 for this card in Rock Edition. PSA 10 does, I want to say 8,000 is the last sale. This is as of like March 9th. But this one, don't remember anything wrong with it. Super nice card, really clean copy. Pretty well centered, maybe top to bottom, but I don't think it should get a 9 with that centering. I think the centering is 10 worthy. Everything else on this card is pretty clean. So again, expect this one to 10. Make about 500 bucks of it if it gems. Pretty cool. Next card is the Gengar Mimikyu. This card's gone crazy too in English. I paid 400 bucks, which is way higher than a PSA 9. I think a PSA 9 does like $250, $300. But this card has seen the most hype of any tag team besides the Latios. A PSA 10 currently goes for $2,500 in English, and a PSA 10 in Japanese, which is this card, goes for like $800 to $900. So I think there's a little bit of room for growth there to close in the gap for people who are getting priced out of the English one. So I decided to pay 400 bucks more than PSA 9 for this card. It wasn't super clean from what I remember. I don't think there were any imperfections, but the centering doesn't seem that great. I guess slight whitening on that bottom edge right there. Tough to see it in the lighting. But again, it is slightly off center left to right. The left is a little bit thicker than the right side. But again, tag teams always like that pretty much. And if you get a perfect one, send it to BGS because my black label. not advice. I actually never graded a black label GX, but that's just what I figured, at least from what I've seen. So the next card is this Charizard GX. Right off the bat, you can see it's off center top to bottom. But again, nothing crazy. I've seen way worse. The back looks really clean. Edges, nice. Corners, nice. This one I paid $540 for, and a PSA 10 does 900 bucks. So a little bit of a double, close to double up there, I guess. If it 9s, probably lose like 100 bucks. So, hey, I mean, the potential to lose 100 bucks or gain 400 bucks seems like a worthy gamble to me. That's the case with pretty much all of these cards, the ones that I've shown so far at least, because the ones in this deck right here, a little bit lower end. So it's going to be a little bit different of a case. So on to the next card. We've got this Mega Rayquaza EX. This one, I was a little bit iffy on. I actually went back and forth on buying it because it was really expensive and it wasn't a super nicely centered copy. I paid $260 for this card. A PSA 10 only does, I think, 400. I'm not exactly sure, but the potential to profit isn't too crazy here. I mean, it's a really high risk, but I just like this card a lot, and the English card has been shooting up quite a bit. So I think it's gone from like 1,800 to 2,500 in the last like 3 weeks. So I saw this card and I was like, you know what? I love the card. I mean, such a beautiful card. And if it doesn't 10, I'm okay with it. I still get to keep a really cool card in the collection or in the showcase. So decided to go for it. Nothing crazy here, but again, just a really cool card. And lastly, for the big hitters, we've got this Giratina V. And I've had really good luck grading this Giratina V from Japan. Every time I go to Japan, I pretty much always pick up at least one of these. This one is pretty tough because it's got some silvering on the edge. So I do honestly expect it to 9. But I wouldn't also be surprised if it 10'd. I don't know. I was on the fence on this one too. But they actually ended up giving me a 10% discount because of the silvering. And I was like, all right, well, it's worth a shot. I saved like 50 bucks. So I paid $650 for this card. PSA 10 goes for like 800 to 900. And a PSA 9, I think it does like 450. So again, I do expect this one a 9. Maybe I shouldn't have bought this. We'll see what happens when it comes back. But I also would not be surprised if it got a 10. Because I've sent some Vs from Sword and Shield era with the same type of silvering. That's because it's the blade of the factory when they produce the card, and it's not actually damaged, quote unquote. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 10, but I do expect the 9. And so we're gonna move on to the faster part of this video. A lot of lower end stuff, maybe like $50 to $100 singles. We're starting off with this tag team Psyduck and Slowbro. This one's pretty cheap. I think it's under 100 bucks, 80, 70 bucks raw. Don't know what it does in a 10, but again, tag team's popping off right now, so decided to add that to the stack. Same with this Zekrom Mushroom Rainbow, and I've got 2 of the regular ones. These 2 regular ones are actually one of the few cards that I picked up not in the damaged or played or light played, whatever pile. I don't even know what to call it, like I said, but I paid full price on these, full market. but they've actually gone up a ton in English, and I expect them to go up in Japanese too. So again, that's why I did it. There's definitely a ceiling to be had there. Same with the rainbow one. I paid like 40 bucks for this card, which is really cheap. I don't even know what a PSA 10 does, but I'm gonna assume it's way more than 40 bucks. So there's those. Next, we've got this Pikachu. I send this in every single time. Ever since that set came out in Japan, I've pretty much sent one of these every time I come back, and I've gotten 2 10s so far. This is the third one, hopefully. I paid 200 bucks here, and a PSA 10 does like 325. So make like 100 bucks after grading. Lugia V, this one actually was not purchased from Japan. I mean, it's obviously from Japan. I didn't get it. I got it from Hawaii, the show we did in Hawaii earlier this year. Just never sent it in, so figured I'd put it in the sub. Then we've got this Gardevoir EX from Shiny Treasures. I paid like 50 bucks for this card. PSA 10 doesn't do crazy numbers. It's just a really cool card to have. And I just like the art, so that's why I bought it. And if you guys saw the last grading video, this Melodic is the favorite card of mine in Supercharged Breaker. Or is that what it's called? Supercharged? Super Electric? Yeah. But I graded 2 of these last time. They both got 10s. I bought a couple. Oh, I bought this one. I bought a couple others actually, but they weren't 10 worthy. They're just super cheap, so I picked them up. But yeah, hopefully this one gets a 10 too. Nothing crazy. I don't think I make too much here. Maybe like 20, 30 bucks if it 10s, but I just like the card. So excited to buy it. Next, we've got the full line of Evolutions from Terrastal Festival. We've got literally all of them here. Hopefully they get a sequential 10. These are pretty easy to grade. The quality control on Japanese is always super good. So I've got them in order here by card number. I think there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. 10 cards. So hopefully they get sequential 10. There's a couple more Evolutions behind it. They're all like Leafeons and Glaceons. So the breakdown on these is I paid like 40, 50 bucks per. I want to say 50 probably on average. Grading fees like 18 bucks, so I'm into it for 68. PSA 10 does, as of right now, I believe 115. So make like 60 bucks per, like 2x on that. Not too bad. Sitting in 4 of them, so it adds up really fast. So there's those. And then the last couple cards are all from the new set Battle Partners. Journeyed Together in English, but I got 2 of these Zekrom ends. I'm not a huge fan of this card, honestly. I think the art is nice, but it's a little bit too bland for me. But I do think it'd be nice in a slab, so I decided to pick a couple up of these. I paid 60 bucks per here. Yeah, 60 bucks each on these. Don't know what they do in a 10, but I just wanted it for the collection, I guess. Just to have some cool cards. I like N. I don't like him as a character, but I like the Pokemon he has, so I decided to pick these up. And then lastly, my favorite card from Battle Partners is the Salamence. Too bad there's no trainer on this card. It'd be great if they had a trainer, but I don't know. Super cheap card. I paid like 30 bucks per. Don't know what they go for in a 10 again, but I just like the card. So it's like the Melodic. I just bought it because I like it. So yeah, 4 of these. And I'm not going to show you the breakdown on these because these should be pretty clean, but yeah. So that's it for this video. I do actually have a lot of other cards going in the same submission, but they're not from Japan. So I didn't want to do a breakdown like this because I wanted to keep the theme. But obviously the heavy hitters, some of these are going to go in a different tier level, so this video might be split up into different sections. Like this is going to go into probably regular or value plus submission, which is like 40 to 60 bucks, whatever it is. This one might too. Obviously the Munch promos are going to go in a higher submission. So this might be broken up into a couple different sections, but all in one video, hopefully. So stay tuned for the second half of the video. I'll see you guys with future me. Hey, what's up guys? And today I finally got my PSA return back from the cards I sent that I bought in Japan. It's been a long time coming. This submission went out a long time ago, and as a lot of you guys might know, PSA is super backed up right now. And unluckily for me, I sent this in right after they started getting backed up. All the GameStop orders, all the TCG blowing up in popularity, prices going insane. So just to do some housekeeping, I sent the submission, I dropped it off actually, directly to PSA at their headquarters on the first week of March. It didn't get scanned in until the first week of April. And PSA actually owed me a favor because of a past order they messed up on, and they allowed me to expedite this order. But even with that expedited speed, it still took forever to get this sub back. Again, dropped it off first week of March, and then it got scanned in April 3rd, and I finally picked it up today, and today's May 14th. So it took 2.5 months for this sub to get back with the expedited status, and if not, it probably would have been 3.5 months instead. So super excited to get started with this. I honestly don't even remember what happened in the first part of this video. I do know the grades of these cards. I do remember what I expected them to grade, but I don't know exactly what I said in the first part of this video. You guys will know because you probably just watched it like 5 minutes ago. But without further ado, let's get into it. So this submission is 50 cards. I don't think all 50 are from Japan. Most of them should be, but I did mix in a couple, I think, cards that I just had laying around. I'm not exactly sure, and I don't know the order that the PSA put this in. But I do see on the side over here, there is one card that was not labeled or holdered, and it says do not holder. And this is because they tried to upcharge me in this card in a PSA 9. I thought it was going to PSA, I thought I had a chance at PSA 10. It wasn't a slam dunk by any means, but they tried to upcharge me 50 bucks on a PSA 9. I felt that wasn't really worth it, so I asked them to crack it back, send it back to me raw, and I'm left with not having to pay the $50 upcharge, which is sick. But yeah, it's slightly off center, left to right, as you can tell. I think the back and the corners and the edges are all pretty minty, but I guess the centering just wasn't good enough for them, which is okay. I mean, it's a bummer, but not the end of the world. And again, it was only 20 bucks to grade it, so very low risk and high reward if you get a 10. So I guess I'm just gonna take a bunch of these out and we'll see what order they put it in. And hopefully it's in some kind of order. In my experience, especially on bigger orders like this, they are all over the place. The PSA has no rhyme or reason on how to order these submissions. So we could get these cards in a super random sequence, and I won't know until we flip it over. And let's get started. I got a huge stack next to me. You can see on the main camera, like right here. This stack goes super high. But let's see what the first card is. Wow. We're starting off with a heater. So I thought this was 10. I was buying a bunch of tag teams before they blew up crazy in the US. So when I went to Japan, I made sure to stock up on a bunch of tag teams, and I graded a bunch of them that I thought were super nice. And this one got a PSA 10. So we're starting off real strong. I actually don't know the prices on these. I would assume this card does like $1,000. I paid, I believe, $450, 500 bucks for it raw. So we're making pretty big profit there. But off to a really good start. Next card we have is another banger. Okay. This is the Mega Rayquaza EX. This is from Ancient Origins in English. I think this is Bandit Ring in Japanese. I thought this one was pretty iffy. It was kind of off center, left to right from what I remember. But it was definitely worth sending in. And you can definitely tell on the back, more so than on the front. If you can see the left to right borders on the gold edge in the card. It's a lot harder to tell in Japanese than it is in English because there's no like thick line that separates the border and the actual card design. But this one I remember being slightly off center, but nothing crazy. And it got a PSA 10. And this card I think goes for like $1,000 in a PSA 10. I believe I paid like $200-300 bucks for it raw. So again, crazy margins there too. But also a lot of these cards have gone up a ton since I sent them in. It's been 2-3 months and the Pokemon market's still going insane. Especially stuff like this, like the Megas and the tag teams. So I just picked the right kind of stuff to send in. So not only did they get PSA 10s, but they also went up in value while they were at PSA. And that's the strategy. You have to account for PSA holding your cards for a long time right now. So I wouldn't advise sending stuff like lower end Vs, VMAXs, ARs, and IRs because a lot of that stuff has gone down since then, and I kind of knew that going into this. So I only sent in a very small amount of those. But next card we have here is the Giratina V from Lost Abyss. And this one also got a PSA 10. So we are on a roll right now. Again, I do know the grades, so I do know there are some that weren't super great. But so far, 3 PSA 10s, 3 big cards. This one's like $1,000 right now. And I think I paid like 500 bucks for it, raw. All right. Next up, we have N and Reshiram Zekrom, the rainbow version. There's also 2 the non-rainbow versions I remember sending in. And I think they all, yeah, this one got a PSA 10. So this one's a pretty easy grade for me. It's not a super expensive card, at least I don't remember it being. I didn't pay a crazy amount in it raw. I don't think it goes for a super crazy amount in a PSA 10 because it's the Japanese version, but I still think there's a pretty good margin there. Next up, we have the Japanese Surging Sparks Pikachu. This is from Super Electric Breaker in the Japanese sets, and this should be a 10. I've graded a bunch of these cards, this specific Pikachu, and they've all came back 10s. And so, yep, we got a PSA 10. Not a super tough grade there. Not crazy big margins. I think the difference is like $200 to $300 bucks in a raw, in raw form, and then like 300 bucks in PSA 10 plus the grading fees. So you only make like 70 bucks. Nothing crazy, but it's a super liquid card, super easy card to move. Next up, we have Pragnum Trigger Lugia V. This one, actually, I bought it in Hawaii beginning of this year, and I submitted it the first time, and it came back a PSA 8, and I was like, that's not right. That doesn't sound right. So I looked at it, and it looked really clean, cracked it out. So I don't think this is the one that I bought from Japan. It might be, but I don't think it is. But yep, this one also got a PSA 10. And so again, I believe this one used to be a PSA 8, and now it's 10. So pretty crazy there. And it just goes to show you can find some low-grade cards and crack them out, because sometimes grading is all subjective. Sometimes the grader might think he sees something or she sees something, and it's just a phantom crease or a phantom mark or whatever. There's, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but sometimes you can find super clean copies even in low grades. I'm going to skip through this one real fast because it's not a super tough grade, not a crazy card, but this one also got a PSA 10. I don't even know if there's a huge premium between raw and PSA 10. I think maybe like 50 bucks at most, so nothing crazy. And that's like before you calculate in grading fees, so not a crazy bump there. Next up, okay, so we're gonna get into a lot of the Prismatic Evolution, Terrastal Festival, I guess. Yeah, this one's not a crazy big card. I think it does like 120 bucks in a PSA 10. Raw is like 50, so you're into it. I'm into it for like 70, 80 bucks. It's profit, that's for sure. Cool card, love it. And I remember setting a bunch of these in, so hopefully this is not the last. All right, we got the Flareon. So I'm gonna rapid fire these if it's the order I think it is. The Flareon got a 10. All right, so yeah, hopefully it is. The Vaporeon got a 10, and I sent these in sequential order. Oh, so that Leafeon might be the first one. Yeah, okay. So sequential means that the PSA certification number goes in order, ascending or descending. Usually it's ascending. So Leafeon is the first card in the set of the EXs for evolutions. Flareon is second. If you see card number 200, 202, 205. Yeah, so hopefully the next card is the same order. We're gonna put this upside down just so it's in order when I pick it up later. No, okay. Yeah, see, like I said, PSA puts everything in random order. Next we have the Rocket Suicune. This one, I'll just reveal, got a PSA 6. I was really disappointed in this grade. I actually paid a huge premium on this card. I think I paid 400 bucks raw, which is more than a PSA 9 goes for. And it came back a 6. I couldn't figure out why. For the life of me, it got a 6. But this might be a crack and regrade candidate. Probably most likely is going to be. I bought this just because it was a sick card. I had a feeling it was not going to 10, but a 6 is definitely not what I expected. So that's a bummer. We'll put this over here. And there are a couple low grades in the submission that shocked me, but overall I was really happy with the submission, so I can't really complain. But that's one of the cards that was disappointing. All right, this is probably the biggest card that I got back. Is it? It's up there. It's definitely up there. It's probably tied with the Mega Ray and the Giratina and the Gengar Mimikyu. So I want to stop the video here real quick just to give you guys a heads up. This video doesn't actually include me showing off the 2 Munch Pikachus coming back because those were sent off at a faster tier level. So I got those a couple weeks before I got this submission back. So just to cut to the chase, one of the Munch Pikachus got a PSA 10, which is crazy, and the other one came back a PSA 9. So just like I mentioned in the first half of this video, that one PSA 10 Pikachu actually more than paid for the entire grading fees of both submissions. So yeah, basically everything you see in this video is pure profit. So just wanted to give you guys a little heads up, and I'll get back to the rest of this video. I guess the biggest one would have been the Latios, but that didn't gem, so I think this is the biggest PSA 10. Card number 68 is the more expensive version. Card number 61 is the base one. And I believe this, I don't think card number 61 is Champions League. It might have a different, I can't read Japanese, so I couldn't tell you. I could definitely Google Translate it, but again, it's just based on, I think, how far into the tournament you went. But this is the more expensive one, and this one in the PSA 10 right now goes for like 1,100. And I think I paid 600 bucks for this card. I think. I probably said it in the first clip you guys saw, but yeah, double up there, pretty cool. And I don't think did I get upcharged for this card? I did get upcharged on this card. I got upcharged $50, which is totally fine. Totally happy to pay a $50 fee if it means I make a couple $100 bucks. Just to recap, the I have the upcharge number form right here. I'll just read it off for you. So again, the Latios, they tried to upcharge me $50. I said no, cracked it out, so I only paid $19.99. $16.99 actually, even better, $16.99. The Rayquaza Bandit Ring got upcharged only $20, which is nuts. I'll take that. The Lost Abyss Giratina got upcharged $50. The Super Electric Breaker Pikachu got upcharged $20, and the Lugia got upcharged $20. So not bad. $50 for this card, nothing crazy. Totally take it. Next up, we have the Hidden Fates Charizard. This is from Ultra Shiny GX. I think it's what it's called in Japanese. But this is the Hidden Fates version in English. This one was slightly off center everywhere, to be honest. Don't remember any flaws with it beyond that. It looked to be a really clean copy. It still looks to be a really clean copy, except maybe like a bend. What is that doing over there? Right there. I did not notice that. I don't know if that was there beforehand. I don't think it was. Well, I don't want to insinuate the PSA damaged my card because I don't know. But maybe it was. Maybe I just missed it. But that dent right there where the light hits, yeah, that is not good. And I know this one didn't gem, PSA 8, which is kind of weird. I didn't know that bend was there, but that should automatically be like a PSA 6 if it's actually on card. So I might have to like investigate further to see if it's actually in the slab or just like a reflection. But yeah, PSA 8, definitely super disappointed in that. Next up, we have one of the bigger disappointments in the submission. It is an Expedition Japanese Gengar. This is the first edition version. This one wasn't super clean, but I thought it might have a chance at a PSA 10. So I actually bought 2 copies of this card in Japan. This one I thought was the better copy. And I paid $20 more for this card than I did the other copy. And fun fact, I actually sent the other copy into CGC because I didn't think I was going to get a PSA 9. And CGC gave it a 9. Guess what PSA gave this version? This copy got a PSA 4. And I could not tell you how. Like, this was one of the more shocking cards in the submission for sure. Don't know how it's a PSA 4. I don't see any creases. I don't see any bends. I don't see anything wrong with this card at all. Yeah, definitely a shocker. This is definitely a card that I might consider just cracking out, either selling it raw or setting it in again to try and grade it. We'll see. But PSA 4, shocker. And obviously no upcharge on that one. This is going to be a longer video because it's 50 cards, so bear with me. Next, we have the Reshiram from Black and White. This is the Japanese version. I was hoping this would PSA 10. This was one of the disappointments as well. A lot of the vintage stuff were pretty big disappointments. And obviously it's vintage, so it makes sense. But this one got a 4 as well. Again, I don't know what PSA is looking at. I thought these cards are really nice condition when I sent them in. But I guess they disagreed, and this might go the same way as the Gengar. Might just crack it out and either sell it raw or send it somewhere else, or even back to PSA. I don't know. All right, the next card. We'll just do these together. Yeah. All right, so we have 2 Charizard Expeditions, Japanese. I got these from the same shop in Japan, in Sapporo actually, where a lot of tourists don't go. So I got pretty good deals on these 2 copies. But PSA didn't agree that they were really good copies. So they gave one a 6, and they gave the other one a 6. Yeah, super disappointing here too. A lot of the vintage, again, didn't perform as well as I thought they would. Probably correcting these as well. I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to get sequential PSA 10s, but they gave me sequential PSA 6 instead. So there you go. All right, next card. I'm hoping we get to the Terrastal Festival so I can show you guys the sequential set, but I think they're going to rattle off a bunch of Salamence this year. So this Salament's got a 10. Again, not a crazy expensive card. If anything, you might potentially lose money if the market goes down or prices change by sending this card in. But it's my favorite card in the set, so I sent a bunch in, and nope, that's not the next card. The next card is a Zoroark. Sent a bunch of these cards in too, just because I bought a bunch raw coming back from Japan, and a lot of them didn't sell at the first card show I went to, so I was just like, oh, I'll just send them in a PSA. They'll probably get a 10, and yep, this one got a 10. Put this one over here. Gonna start to go a little bit faster just because a lot of these are lower end. Leafeon EX, PSA 10. This is not part of the sequential set. Charizard, Brilliant Stars. This is a pretty big card in the 10. I think it goes for like 350 right now. Rod is like 200. These are pretty hard to grade, in my experience. A lot of the V's and VMAXs from Sword and Shield, tougher to grade than nowadays. But this one got an 8. I don't know why. This is definitely getting cracked out. It's definitely worth more raw than it is in an 8. I thought it was a really nice copy, but again, PSA did not agree. I don't see anything really wrong with it. I guess maybe a white dot in the corner right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Very slightly. I guess this corner too. So, I mean, not a great card, but definitely not an 8 to me. I thought it was, if anything, a lot of these were going to be 9s, not 8s, 6s, 4s, etc. All right, the next card is another English card. I don't remember what this one got, so this one's actually going to be a surprise to me too. Hopefully it's a 10. All right, cool. Yeah, PSA 10, nice. Nothing to say about this. I guess it's a really clean copy. Yep. I wish the Charizard was also a 10, but it is what it is. Next card. All right, here's the regular version of the N Reshiram Zekrom. Again, I believe all 3 got a 10, so if the next one is the same card, yeah, it is. All right. So PSA 10s on both. Off the top of my head, I have no idea what this goes for to PSA 10. I'll have to look it up. Maybe I'll put it on the screen here. But I think I paid like 40, 50 bucks each raw. Plus grading fees, I'm into it like maybe 70 bucks. So hopefully this card goes for more than $100 in PSA 10. And I'm pretty sure it does, but we'll see. Well, you guys will see. You guys will see instantly. I'll find out later. All right, the next card, Palkia. I wonder if I sent this in sequentially with the Arceus. Arceus is 7.8, Palkia is 7.7. Okay, cool. PSA 10. Nice. I don't think I have the Giratina in the submission, so it doesn't really matter if it's sequential or not because I don't have the entire set. But yeah, Palkia, PSA 10. Very nice. The next card is not a Dialga. I know I have a Dialga in this submission, so again, everything's all out of order. We have a Psyduck Slowpoke tag team. Again, part of the tag team alts I was picking up while I was there. These are a lot easier to grade in Japanese than English, so this one got a PSA 10. And I think there's 2 of these in the sub, so hopefully the next card is also... No, it's not. Of course it's not. PSA said, no, you're not going to have nice things. I didn't want to pre-sort this in the video either, because I kind of wanted it to be a surprise. I don't remember a lot of these grades. I only remember the bigger ones and the bigger disappointments. So I was just going to, you know, see how PSA ordered it, and we'll go from there, and we'll just do it off the rip. So... yeah, here's the Eevee. This is part of the sequential set. I'm just going to stack it here. And once we finish this sequential set, I will show you the entire set together. Fruit Eevee, PSA 10, part of the set again. And next up, we have another Leafeon. All the Leafeons got a 10, so I'm not even going to like slow reveal them. I think all the Terrastal Festival got PSA 10s. Yeah, these are pretty easy to grade. It's kind of free money if you want to do it yourself. You make like 50 bucks per card. Not that bad. All right, this is one of the bigger cards in the submission, especially if it gets a 10. I think a PSA 10 right now goes for 2,700, which is insane. This one was off-center, top to bottom, left to right, like all over the place. I thought it was a really borderline copy. It definitely had a chance at a PSA 10, but it ended up with a PSA 9, which I'm not too upset about. I totally expected some of these to come back 9s, so as long as they're not like 6s and 4s, I'm totally happy with that. And I believe I picked this card up for like 700 bucks when I got it, and a PSA 9 might go for more than that. I'm pretty sure it does. I'll pop it on the screen. But yeah, I probably still made money on this card, which is crazy. But that's just how the Pokemon market works right now. All right, Test Tube Mewtwo. Sick card. Again, one of the bigger cards on the sub. I think I got upcharged on this card as well. Let me double check. Yeah. So obviously I got upcharged PSA 10, but they upcharged me 50 bucks on this card as well. So super happy to pay that again. Really nice card. Love the texturing. And I recently found out that the side of the test tube doesn't have any texture, which is kind of weird. Kind of interesting. Because I saw one and I thought it was fake. But then I compared it with other copies and nope, just they don't have texture on the sides. But sick card. Cool card I have. PSA 10. Love it. All right, we are almost done. We got like 10 or 15 cards left. Next we have the Paldean Fates Charizard. This card didn't grade super well, PSA 9. It was off-center. There probably are white spots on the back. Yeah, that corner has some whitening. this corner has a little bit, if you guys can see that. Like right there. Yeah, I mean, it's a decently clean copy, but I get why they didn't give it a PSA 10. And I'm totally fine with that. All right. Oh, wait, there is a Giratina. What? Wait, so do I have a full sequential set? No. Okay. That's rude. I think I see why. It is off center, left to right. But I probably just sent this in as a YOLO just to try to get the PSA 10 sequential set. And I don't really blame prior self for that. So, old Will from 3 months ago, I don't blame you. You got to go for the sequential set. Didn't get it. It is off center, left to right. If you can see, the left border is really thin compared to the right side. But yeah, so close. So close. Because I think the Dialga got a 10. Here we have a Melodic, my favorite card from Super Electric Breaker or Surging Sparks. And this one got a PSA 10. Next up, Skarmory AR. A lot of these don't grade very well. A lot of the ARs are notorious for having terrible quality control. So no surprise when this one got an 8. And this card definitely loses money in an 8 because the raw card isn't really expensive to begin with. You pretty much have to get a 10 to make money on that card. Otherwise you will lose money. Guaranteed. All right, next up, another English card. We have the Bulbasaur AR. I've had really good luck on this card grading it, so wasn't surprised when I got a PSA 10. All right, next we have the Infernape. I sent this in part, so obviously these cards aren't from Japan. They're just in the same submission. But I sent a lot of these ARs in primarily because I had a bunch loaded up and they weren't selling fast enough. Like they would sell, but I would have like 5 copies at a time. And I figured I might as well just shoot my shot and try my luck. And if they get a 10, I think these go for pretty pricey numbers. So this one got an 8, just like the other, the Skarmory. I didn't send this in thinking like super confidently I was going to get a PSA 10. But again, it was worth a shot because I had so many different copies just laying around. And this was one of the unfortunate ones in the submission. So if you can see, this is the PSA 10 stack. That's also PSA 10. I guess we'll stack it together. We did pretty well in the submission. And also it's kind of skewed because a lot of these are Prismatic or Terrastal Festival. But even like the other cards that I sent in, like some of the tag teams, we did pretty well on the submission so far. Next card is the Ivysaur from 151. Don't remember what this got actually. I don't think it gemmed. Right off the bat, centering is decent. Not the worst that I've seen. Corners could be better. Yeah, I don't remember this one being a 10. I mean, there's lightning on that corner too. And oh wow, I got an 8. All right, so I guess they gave a lot of the AR, like all the ARs 8s. Sure, I guess. Next up, Salamence, PSA 10. That's part of the Salamence stack. Then we have, ooh, this card. This is a big card in a PSA 10. I kind of knew this wouldn't PSA 10 though. The reason I sent this one in is because it was not a really good raw copy. And I was hoping, like it wasn't damaged or anything, but a lot of people when they buy raw cards now, they only want to buy PSA 10s. And that's kind of the annoying part about buying and selling raw cards. People will like inspect it, they'll pass on it, next person will come do the same thing. Maybe on the 5th person, they'll buy it. I sent this in because I was just hoping to get a 9 and I could sell it really easily, but I ended up getting an 8. So it's basically the same as raw. And next up, Sylveon. That's part of the sequential set. So PSA 10, we'll just put that there. Umbreon, this is a big one. I mean, it got a 10, it's part of the sequential set. This one also got upcharged 50 bucks. So super lucky about this one. Really happy this one 10. This is probably this is the most important card in the entire set of Terrastal Festival. So super stoked to get that one back. We have the Jolteon, PSA 10, not even gonna reveal that. Espeon, PSA 10. That might be it for the Terrastal Festival. I'm not entirely sure. Nope, we got a Glaceon still, PSA 10. Another Salamence to add to the stack. Another Salamence. And I wonder what the last card is. Is it a Salamence? I don't think so. I think I only sent it in 4, and that's 4 already. Oh, and Zorarg. And that also got a PSA 10. So, that's it for the submission. Pretty cool submission. Probably one of the biggest bulk orders I've done in a long time. But I would say pretty successful. There were a couple disappointments, but overall, we definitely did turn a profit. So as a little recap here, I just want to show you guys the entire sequential set of Evolutions from Terrastal Festival. So first we have the Leafeon. We have the Flareon. we have Vaporeon. And again, all these PSA numbers are going to be in order. So this is going to be 8, Glaceon's going to be 8, Jolteon's going to be 9, Espeon's going to be 60, 61 for Sylveon, 62 on Umbreon, which is a huge card, 63 on the first EV, and then 64 on the Fruit EV. So really happy to get those back in a PSA 10. PSA didn't troll me and give me a 9 on one of them, like they did with the Crown Zenith Golds. I'll show you guys some of the biggest cards and then some of the disappointments. Some of the biggest cards, this is probably the biggest card, the 2017 Festa. Then we have the, well, this is not in order, but the Lugia and the Giratina. This one is a really cool copy to have. I'm super excited. I don't know if I'm going to sell this one or not, but I might PC it. We'll see. But the Rayquaza. Then we have the Mimikyu Gengar, which is a really nice card too, especially in English. English does crazy numbers right now, but the Japanese one's also sick to have. The Test Tube Mewtwo, and the Surging Sparks Pikachu, among some of the other PSA 10s in here. And then last but not least, the disappointments. We'll run it through again real quick. The PSA 8 Ultra Shiny GX Charizard, the PSA 6 Suicune, the PSA 4 Expedition Gengar, the PSA 4, oh, these pain me, the PSA 4 Reshiram Full Art, both PSA 6 Expedition Charizards, and the PSA 9 Psyduck 9, even though I expected a 9, is a disappointment, because if this was a 10 and everything else was the grades that they got, I'd be even more happy. But yeah, that's it. Final thoughts. Again, super successful PSA submission. Really good gem rate. We got 35 PSA 10s, which is a 70% gem rate. It is skewed because a lot of this stuff was modern Japanese, which is pretty easy to gem. But the ones that needed to gem did gem, like the tag teams and the Festa, the Festa, 2017 Festa. We had 15 cards that were PSA 9 or below. So nothing too crazy as far as low grades. I guess the low grades were just really low. But hopefully this was super informative. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you guys like this type of video, please let me know down below. This is my second one of doing this type of grading reveal, especially with cards I buy in Japan. And yeah, that's it for me. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.